What's going on? The Ape Coach from Six Pack Gaming, where we bring you the best play to earn NFT games and new Metaverse projects. Today, we have a sponsored video from the team over at Darley Go. Now, this game has the potential to be the next PEGAXY on the Solana blockchain. They've got a lot of similarities to PEGAXY and a lot of very unique features and things that they're doing completely differently. So I'm super excited to cover this with you guys. And in addition to that, because the market's looking a little red, we want to brighten up the spirits here. We are going to be giving away 50 USDT split between 5 lucky winners in this video, so you're going to want to stick around to see how you can win that. But for now, be sure to smash that thumbs up button, make sure you're subscribed and got notifications turned on, and let's dive right into this. Darley Go Race, Train, and Breed. So this is, of course, another horse racing game. This is on the Solana blockchain, and you can see the artwork is pretty phenomenal. They've got a lot of very cool features here. And here's just a little breakdown. Welcome to Darley Go, the world's first myth-based NFT horse racing game based on Solana. Race, collect, and build your horse empire in this exciting multiplayer NFT game. So unlock your horse's potential with training. This is a very unique feature that we have not seen before in things like PEGAXY and that nature. Racing, of course, and they have various racing modes, which will be very cool here, and then breeding, as we always love to see, and there will be scholarships and all of that sort of stuff as well with this, but these are the three sort of primary components. You can take a look at what, you know, some of these things look like. There's training, there's racing, all that good stuff, and then this is a cool thing that they just introduced, this Darley School. So it says, our Darley School guide, Kiwi, welcomes everyone on all you need to know course for an amazing Darley Go experience. Players can join classes anytime to brush up their daily lessons. And so if you click this join class, it literally just walks you through a bunch of different like YouTube videos of the different things that are going on in the game. Now, one of the things, they literally just launched their in-game marketplace, and so we can check that out right here. And you can see all the different horses that are listed. You can see their gender. So filly is a female, a colt is a male. So you can see all different types of horses and stuff that are available. You can sort them by their bloodline. There's 3 different bloodlines, starting with the Hayato, which is the least rare. Then the Ario, and the Darley is the most rare and the most expensive. Okay, and again, you can sort by gender as well. And they actually have, you know, fillies and colts, which are basically like baby females, baby males. And then they have stallions and mares, which are adult males and adult females. Okay, there's breed counts, there's currencies, so you can buy on their marketplace in either DGE, which is their governance token, or USDC. So very similar to PEGAXY's marketplace, where you can buy with PGX or USDT. And then you can sort, you know, lowest to highest price, oldest to newest, all that good stuff. All right, so there is this marketplace. However, I will point out the prices on the marketplace in-game are actually more expensive than they are on Magic Eden right now. This was where they initially launched their NFTs. So if you are thinking about getting a horse, this might be the place to check out first, because you can see like the cheapest price right now for the Hayato, which is the lowest rarity bloodline, is only 2.3 Solana, and with it at $67 right now, that's like just over $150. So compare that to the cheapest price on the market here, and that's $258. So you can save yourself about $100 right now, at least, by purchasing on Magic Eden. So just something to consider with that. Okay, now let's jump into the white paper. Before you go out and buy a horse and, you know, do all of that stuff, it's important to know what this game all offers, what it looks like, what's, you know, the tokens and all that good stuff. So let's jump into the white paper here and break down all of the details here. All right, and you can see this was last updated in April, so this is very fresh, very newly updated. So again, it's the first myth-based NFT horse racing game. So these the Darley, the Hayatos, and the Arios, they all have like corresponding mythical gods that kind of like are represented by these horses. So that's kind of where that, you know, the myth-based thing comes from. But it says Darley's mission is to create a fun and educational way for the general public to adopt blockchain technology. Darley Go will use virtual horse racing as a tool to educate, entertain, and empower people towards the future of gaming and virtual reality. We believe in a future where work and play are one. We want to empower our players by giving them economic opportunities, and most of all, we envision a future where racing virtual horses can change the world. Welcome to our revolution. So that is pretty bold claims, but very nice to see that their focus is on onboarding the general public and getting them to adopt blockchain. That is kind of the overarching premise of all of these play to earn NFT games, and that is that this is going to be one of the biggest introductory assets to onboarding new users into the crypto scene, into blockchain adoption through gameplay. Okay, so that's very cool. This is just a little bit of the lore. Far away in the Kavia galaxy, horses populated the planet of Altair, a horse paradise. Darley, Aereo, and Hayato are the three most powerful horse tribes, and famous heroic horses filled their bloodlines. For centuries, the horses have been hosting a traditional annual competition for the title of Horse Above All Horses. As the annual event approaches, which horse will win the famous title and bring glory to their families? Okay, so we've got racing. So there's 2 levels in racing. Higher levels come with even bigger prize pools, but are significantly more difficult and challenging to players. Level 1 racing is quite straightforward. Players compete against other active players in regular racing events. Winners earn glory and honor in these races, while simultaneously collecting our special Darley Go tokens. So it's free to race. Players need at least 1 horse to enter the race. The top 3 winners will be rewarded with GXE. So this is very similar to VIS in PEGAXY. You can choose whether you want to do the races in 3D or 2D. Again, very similar. And then here is the prize pool. Level 2 racing is a lot more intense. Players will have to choose the distance, the track, and the weather of the race that best fits their horse to participate. So there's going to be a lot of like environmental and track effects for players to make note of and be able to strategize around. Okay, and then there's also going to be this PvP battle mode. And my understanding for this is it's basically like wager matches. I don't think these are free to enter, but it says battling for glory, the epic PvP battle, horse versus horse, carries higher stakes for players who like high octane matches. Only the best and strongest Darley Go horses can survive in this epic battle mode. You can win significant awards as you compete against top players, but beware of losing, as you can also lose your rewards if other players beat you. It's all or nothing gameplay for skilled horses and top players, so tread lightly. We are going to release the PvP battle mode during Q3 2022. So that's a very unique concept already. It seems like this is offering wager matches for people that, think they have a really strong horse. They can put their money where their mouth is. They can, bet some of their currency, some of their crypto, put it on the line, and it's kind of winner takes all in these events. So that is very cool. And then we have the breeding here, but first I want to go over the training, because this is a very unique concept that's been introduced to this game, and it actually impacts how your horse will perform and how to strategize with the horse that you have for those level 2 races. Okay, so through our training mode, players can maximize and discover more about their horse's abilities and character. There are 2 kinds of training styles available to players. There's trotting and galloping. In trotting, players will complete quests to unlock their horse's ability badges. So each of your horses have these ability badges that basically get revealed after you do this training, and it tells you more about your horse. Okay, so it's kind of cool that you can unlock sort of special or hidden abilities from your horse by doing this training stuff. And so it says this style is designed to help players better understand their horse's strengths and abilities. And then galloping, players can spend GXE, which is the utility token, the rewards token, with a training partner to increase their horse's stamina. Higher stamina allows players to have more energy for additional races. In this training mode, players will drill with training partners. After each training, the horse's racing recovery time will be reduced by 0.5 hours. Okay, so you actually reduce the cooldown time between races for your horse by half an hour every time you do this galloping training. But it does say, note that each horse can only undergo the galloping style of training twice over its lifetime. So that means you can only totally reduce your cooldown time by 1 hour. But that means you're actually going to be able to get races off sooner than, horses that haven't gone through this training. So that's a very unique sort of incentive to do this training as well. And then there's this training partner. So it does say with the galloping, you need a training partner. So users can actually stake their inactive horses as a training partner for other players in order, and you earn GXE from that. So the horses that are, or the players that are using their horses to train and doing the galloping training, they have to pay GXE, and if you have like an inactive horse that's just kind of chilling, you can actually stake them and you earn a percentage of that GXE just for having your NFT or your horse staked there for other players to be able to interact with as a training partner. So that's a very unique concept as well. Again, this offers an opportunity for completely passive earnings. You know, if you just want to stake your NFTs, stake your horse, and let other people train with it as a training partner, you can do that. You don't even have to do the races if you don't want. Now, I'm sure, like, I don't know if that'll be the best way to maximize your rewards by any means, but that is an option for those that want to be, you know, essentially completely hands off, just kind of like just stake your NFT, and, you know, it works like that. We do have the scholarships as well. So again, basically there's a rental mode where you can set a fixed price and a specific time period that you can rent your horse out for. And then there's also a syndicate, which is the profits sharing model. This is the traditional scholarship model that most will be familiar with, where it's free for the renter to rent the horse, and then there's just the profit is just split between the owner and the renter automatically. It's all through an automated system, very much like PEGAXY's scholarship system. Okay, so that is awesome to see that as well. Gets rid of all of that additional management work and efforts and time from that. Right, and now we have the breeding. So this is done very differently from PEGAXY, which is actually nice to see, because with PEGAXY in the current state, you know, breeding was really its sole utility for their earnings token for VIS, right? So now this game already offers additional utility through training. So there's kind of those PvE elements. There's also the wager matches that are going to be coming out, the PvP battle mode. So that offers additional utility. But then here they have a very different cost structure for their breeding and a very different sort of breeding mechanism. It's actually very similar to Derby Stars. So if you guys watched my videos on Derby Stars and you kind of, you know, followed along with the breakdown of that breeding process, this is actually fairly similar to that, okay? Because you have the stallions and the mares, and, you know, the stallions are able to kind of breed a lot more than the mares, that sort of thing. But let's go through it here. So you've got the traditional stud farm, so you can hire a stallion on the market for your mares. That is very similar to PEGAXY and to Derby Stars as well. Basically, the male horse can be put up on the market and rented as a stud for others to breed with using their mare horses. The mare is the female, so it is the one that births the baby horse, the offspring. So it says, and through in-house breeding, if a player has both stallions and mares. So here is the breeding process and costs. In-house breeding and fees. If a player has both stallions and mares and wants to breed horses of their own, they can do that without paying a stud fee for the stallion from the stud farm. However, the player will still need to pay a breeding fee to the game system. So it's going to be a GXE and DGE cost. So DGE is their governance token, much like PGX from PEGAXY, and GXE is very similar to this. That is their rewards token. Okay, so as your horse's breed count increases, so do the GXE breeding fees. So that's the rewards token again. The higher the breed count of the mare, number of times the mare has been bred, the more GXE the owners have to pay. The cost of in-house breeding will be the corresponding GXE cost plus a fixed 1200 DGE. So this is similar to PEGAXY, you know, where PEGAXY is 30 PGX. This is 1200 DGE, and it's the same total token supply of DGE compared to PGX. There's 1 billion total supply of both of those. So it's very interesting to see that it's going to cost 1200 of that in order to breed one horse, right? That is a substantial increase, right? That is 30 times, 40 times more expensive than it is to breed in PEGAXY. So again, that's already causing a lot of utility and demand for their governance token right off the bat as well. So that would cause me to believe that the price of DGE would, pump quite a bit once the breeding and all that is introduced. But again, not financial advice. Do your own research. There's, this is not a given by any means, but that would be my first sort of inclination with that. And then here is the chart of the breeding costs here. So we've got the GXE costs, and there's actually different costs based on the bloodline that you own. So the lower rarity bloodlines, the Hayatos, cost less to breed in GXE than, the Arrows and the Darleys, which are the higher rarity bloodlines. And you can see the prices of these go up quite substantially. It doubles from 0 breed count up to 5 breed count. So, Darleys start at 60,000 GXE, Hayatos at only 18,000. And then Hayatos go up to 36,000 for a 5 out of 5 breed count, whereas the Darley goes up to 120,000. So it scales up very quickly. And again, it just creates a very high demand for these token prices because it costs so much. And then here is kind of the breakdown of the stud farm breeding and fees. So I won't go like super into detail. You can read more about it here, but essentially based on the price that the owner of the stallion sets, it's going to cost more or less DGE as a cost for you to be able to use their stallion in the stud service. Okay, so there's always a base cost of 1,200 DGE, which is the same it would be if you were breeding your own horses. But if the owner of the stallion charges a higher stud fee, so anything from 2,400 to 4,800 DGE, you have to pay 30% of that as a stud fee. And then if it's 4,801 or above, so if they charge like 5,000, you have to pay 40% of that in a stud fee. Okay, so with this, it says if they're charging 5,000, you have to pay 40%. That would be 2,000 DGE you'd have to pay to be able to breed with that stallion. And then for cross bloodline breeding, regardless of breeding in-house or through a stud farm, the GXE cost will be the average cost of the two bloodlines based on the mare horse's breed count. Okay, so if you have a mare, let's say here, you have a mare, well, actually here, they go through an example right here. So if you have a Hayato here, and a Darley, okay, they're both 0 breed counts. So cost 18,000 for the Hayato, 60,000 for the Darley. The total you'd have to pay is the average, which would be 39,000. Okay, so that'd be 60 plus 18 divided by 2 is 39,000 GXE. So that's how that works. And then there's different breeding factors and mutations that can happen. Okay, so again, this is where there's some differences and nuances compared to, say, the PEGAXY breeding system. There is going to be some strategy involved with breeding and all of that. So it says, in Darley Go, breeding is essential. Therefore, the horse's pedigree plays a significant role in deciding an individual horse's ability and performance. When a player chooses to breed their horses, their descendants can inherit by chance either of the parents' bloodlines, their ability badges, characteristics, and mutation probability. So refer to the pedigree chart below. This kind of shows you a flow chart of, what it would look like. So you have all of your sort of genesis, Darley and Arrow that breed here, and that produces a Darley here, and it carries over this A mutation probability thing. And then here you breed the offspring of these previous 4, and you have a Darley and an Arrow. There's an A and a C for the mutation probability, so then it ends up with an Arrow again, that's a B. And so it just kind of like they breed down, but essentially you have a chance here of this being an Arrow or a Darley, and it's just kind of like random. So it's not the same as PEGAXY, where if you breed higher bloodlines with lower bloodlines, the offspring always becomes the lower bloodline. It can become the lower or the higher, which is very cool. And then there's different characteristics and abilities that they can carry over from the parents as well. Its mutation probability is designed to increase the likelihood of breeding a superior horse that is almost as good as its parents, or one that can even surpass them. So mutation probability plays a significant role during cross bloodline breeding, but it also impacts what ability badges the offspring will inherit. So it's calculated based on the horse's pedigrees, rated from A to E, with A being the highest. Subsequently, each preceding generation will contribute to the current generation's offspring with a maximum of 3 generations. So that's why you can see 1, 2, 3. So you've got the parents, grandparents, and great grandparents that all affect the abilities and stuff of the offspring there. So it's there's going to be very long sort of breeding trees and bloodline trees and that sort of thing. Like in the real world, horses may inherit some genes, or in case ability badges or mutation probabilities, from their parents and ancestors. This system is dependent on the horse's bloodline and personal characteristics. And then cross bloodline breeding the same bloodline will result in the same bloodline for the offspring. So if you have a Darley stallion and mare, the offspring is going to be a Darley. But if you're breeding different bloodlines, the mutation probability kicks in. So if you do a Darley and a Hayato, there's a higher chance for a Hayato offspring, although it's still possible to have a Darley foal. Okay, so if you're breeding the higher rarity with the lower rarity, it's more likely it'll be the lower rarity, but it can still be the higher rarity, which is pretty cool. And the higher the mutation probability of the horse's pedigree, along with the mutation probability rating, so again, that A to E, for a maximum of 3 preceding generations, the higher likelihood that the breeding can result in a better bloodline. So if you have like A probabilities and you're breeding like these Darleys and Hayatos for 3 generations, there's a higher likelihood that it could result in a Darley offspring instead of a Hayato, essentially. And then there's just more about the cooldowns and that. So there's different cooldowns based on their bloodlines. Stallions that breed 3 times will need to go through a 168 hours, so 7-day cooldown until they can breed again. For mares, it depends on the breed count and the mare's bloodline. So this is the mare cooldowns here. So if you have a Darley, the mares for 1 breed count is 48 hours, 2 is 96, 192, and then 384 and 768. So it becomes substantially longer cooldowns depending on the breed count. So that's very cool. That's a cool way to slow down the population inflation of the horses. Same thing here with Arios and Hayatos. So with these, they all start, Hayatos, the lowest rarity, starts with only 24-hour cooldown, and then 36 for Ario, 48 for Darley, and then they each kind of go up and almost double, it looks like, every time they breed. I think that is how it works here, yeah. So they double each breed count. So at the end, it's going to take a while to be able to breed again if you're trying to breed these things all the way through. And then here are the other cooldown times based on the bloodlines as well. So a mare race after breeding. So all mares can race 24 hours after breeding. If this is an offspring that's born, Darleys can race after 24 hours, Arios 36, and Hayatos 48. So Hayatos can breed much more frequently, but they have to wait longer until the offspring can race. So that's where that sort of offset is. So there's a little bit of balance there, which is very cool. And then there's difference in breeding times for the offspring as well. So with this, you've only got a 2-day cooldown until your offspring of a Darley can breed again. Arios 3-day and Hayatos 4-day, and then stallions to be able to race after the stud farm. So if you have your stallion rented out on the stud farm, you're going to have to wait 24 hours after that to be able to race that stallion as well. The very same as the mares. So basically, anytime a parent is breeding, they have to wait 24 hours until they can race again. So that's another unique factor as well. And then here is the breeding limit and sacrifice system. All Darley Go horses can reproduce, but they have a limited chance to do so over a horse's lifetime. Stallions can only breed 15 times, and mares can give birth a maximum of 6 times to foals over their lifetime. So suppose a player reaches the breeding limit and still wants more horses. In that case, they can sacrifice or burn some of their horses to the Kavaya Galaxy Breeding higher quality horses, bloodlines, and generation types beyond their natural breeding limits will require more sacrificial offerings. Lower quality horses need fewer sacrificial offerings than higher quality horses. So it's very awesome to see that they already have their burning system, their sacrifice system in place right at the start as well. They have varying limits to the breeding times based on the gender of the horses. So stallions can reproduce many more times. That will allow you to rent that out on the market and, you know, offer that stud service. Whereas mares, you can only breed them. You can only birth 6 offspring for those. And again, this is in addition to the increasing costs in the earnings tokens to be able to continue breeding these things. So it becomes more and more expensive, plus there's a complete limit to it, and then a sacrifice system as well. And they actually take this even further when we dive into the horse breakdowns here. There is a lifeline. Okay, so there is an age to these horses. This bio clock says shows your horse's career stage according to its race count. So there's a limited number of races that horses can participate in. And it says here, a Genesis horse has an average racing phase of around 2,100 races, while a non-Genesis horse will have a shorter racing phase. So it's, again, very cool to see that the horses actually have a lifeline. There's actually scarcity in the NFTs and you know, a limit to their earnings potential, right? So that is why breeding is going to be so important in this game, and burning to be able to continue breeding and all of that sort of stuff, because there is a lifeline to these. They cannot just, you don't just, you know, make the horse once and then it produces infinite returns for you, you know, and infinite rewards tokens. So very, very, very cool to see all of the different mechanics and things that they've worked in right at the beginning. And you can see all of these different horse attributes. You have the distance, so whether it prefers you know, short, long, or medium races. You've got different types of tracks. You've got wet, sand, and turf or grass. You've got your mutation probability, which determines its offspring, you know, quality essentially. You've got different characters based on its temperament. It could be short-tempered or patient. It's also related to the number of gates. So that is going to tie into the races as well. It looks like their character. You've got the running styles as well. So again, this is very similar to Derby Stars with the different running styles. You've got dash runner, balance runner, lead runner, and well-rounded runner. You've got their age. You have the stamina, which allows you 12 races per day. However, you can end up shortening that cooldown time, again, remember, by doing the training. And then you have your different genders. So you've got your colt, which is a virgin male, filly, a virgin female, and then you have your stallions and mares, which are, you know, adult males and females that are not virgins. This is just kind of a visual representation of the different horse attributes. So you have the different distances, the tractions, and their running styles. So again, looks very, very nice. The NFT Marketplace, which we had already looked at here, again, they had just launched this. So you can check out the horses here. You can check out, again, their bloodline, their gender, what their stamina's at. And then in the future, you'll be able to check out their win percentages and their ability badges and all of those things, you know, once the racing and all of that has begun. And here there's just a 5% seller's fee for every transaction. 40% goes to the treasury fund or ecosystem fund, while the remaining 60% goes to game development, recruitment, and building a stronger foundation. So that's the breakdown of that 5% fee. Ideas of other NFT assets that will be coming. So you've got virtual stables, special feeds, you know, special food, you've got land, you've got characters, all of that sort of stuff. And then they have this idea of this galaxy mode, which sounds very ambitious as well. It says virtual reality and the metaverse are the next great leap in gaming after NFTs and blockchain tech. With the rise of VR tech, players can fully immerse themselves in the virtual world. Darley goers can experience what it's like to be fully in a world where their horses with their horses and explore Altair. So they have this idea to be able to actually be within the metaverse in virtual reality, to be able to, like, you know, own your stables and see your horses and, you know, watch the races and all that. So that's a very, very cool concept that they are working on. Planning to further integrate our game with the Metaverse and Solana to expand our players' experience. With this new anticipated game feature, players may buy their own land, purchase racing venues, or create their own customized stables or racetracks, among others. Play, learn, and connect with other Darley goers with this game mode. Of course, anything is possible in the vast Darley Go universe, so stay tuned for our future plans. So the last thing I wanted to quickly run over here is just go over the 2 tokens as well. So it is a dual token economy, very similar to PEGAXY, very similar to Derby Stars as well. So you've got 1 billion supply of DGE, the Darley Go Essence token. They have the token address right here, so you can check it out on SoulScan and see, there's 3,500 holders currently, and you can purchase this on Radium, I believe. Yep. So USDC and DGE, it is currently at 5.6 cents. So that is how you can pick that up. And then they have their, well, this is just the breakdown of their allocation and their sort of vesting from their seed rounds, their private rounds, their public sales, all of that sort of stuff. So there is a lot of cliffs. There's a 6-month cliff on the seed and private sale. So you could see things be fairly stable for the first 6 months of this. And then I would expect things to drop off as the supply increases on the open market. So that is something to be aware of. You always want to take a look at the vesting schedules and, be aware of when additional tokens will come into the marketplace, because that can affect token price. And then there is the Galaxy Essential token, which is similar to VIS. This is their earnings token. So it's the main transaction currency in the Darley Go universe. Players will use it mainly for racing rewards, breeding, and in-game NFTs. So again, this is uncapped and it's on Solana. It says, we aim to be fully decentralized, managed by our Darley Go DAO. However, because it takes years of game development and community growth for a game to be fully decentralized, Darley Go will not be a decentralized game upon release. Okay, so that's just kind of like a disclaimer there. And then this is kind of their economic model. And it's basically just everything we've already talked about. We've got the training with the 2 different types, trotting and galloping. And you can also stake your horse as a trainee and earn PGX as a reward for staking. And then you have racing to earn GXE as the prize for that. And then we have, the breeding here. You've got the marketplace, you've got the scholar system, you've got either direct rentals or market rentals or syndicates, which are your scholars that just split the profits with you. You've got your NFT horses and other in-game assets that you can buy with DGE or GXE. And then you have your different mares and stallions for breeding in-house or breeding on the stud market. That's kind of the entire breakdown of the economy of the game. Check out their roadmap here. So they just went through their marketplace launch. They have their level 1 racing and breeding coming. I believe they're a little bit behind this because they had just launched the marketplace. So I would expect these all to be about 2 weeks or so behind. So I would say probably around the 20th, we could see the level 1 racing and breeding. And then towards the end of May for the scholarships and the training mode launching around the end of May as well. And then it heads into Q3 and 4, which is going to be like the level 2 racing, the PvP battle mode, mobile game launch, all of this cool stuff, Galaxy mode, which is more their metaverse thing. So lots of cool stuff. You can check out the team as well, all fully doxed. And you can see 10 plus years, 20 plus years, 10 plus years, 14 plus years in, visual effects and business and consulting, in blockchain business development, all this sort of stuff. And you can click right through to their LinkedIn, check out their sort of experience and all of that good stuff as well. So great to see a fully doxed team, very cool artwork and awesome overall stuff. The school here is also very, very helpful as well. These are very brief guides that will kind of re-explain things that we already went over in this video. So if you want to check those out, you can always check out the school just down at the bottom of their main website. Alrighty, so that is everything for Darley Go. But before we jump off, we have to let you know about the giveaway and how to enter. So we are going to be giving away 50 USDT, that cash money crypto, and that's going to be split between 5 lucky winners here, okay? And so in order to participate in that, all you have to do is 5 very simple steps. You've got to like this video. You've got to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you got noties on. Then drop a comment down below with your favorite feature of Darley Go, okay? Then you are going to drop a follow on the Twitter here at theAPEcoach. Again, this will all be linked down in the description. Once you have done those 4 things, the 5th and final step, very important, you are going to join the Six Pack Gaming Discord linked down below. You're going to scroll down until you find the YouTube giveaways channel, and you are going to enter your YouTube username as well as your Solana wallet address. I use the Phantom wallet, phantom.app, for all of my Solana stuff, so that would be what I would recommend. But just make sure you enter your YouTube username and Solana wallet address so that we can confirm you as the winner if you happen to win it. All right, and it is that easy. You could be walking away with some free USDT just for watching and doing those few steps. All right, so let me know, what are your thoughts about Darley Go? Make sure you don't miss that giveaway. Be sure to smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe, got notifications turned on. And as always, till next time, train hard, game hard, keep making those life-changing gains, and we will see you in the next video. Peace out, everyone.